the Eagles from Sheffield. The players have an important job. Let's check out the way the two sides line up. Robinson is the fullback for Wigan. Then it's Ellison, Connolly, Radlinski and Andy Johnson, Paul and Smith. And the forwards, Hansen, Clark and Cowie. Horton returns after injury with Cassidy in the second row, and Farrell's the loose forward and captain. And on the substitutes bench, O'Connor, Holgate, Wright and Tallick. The coach is Eric Hughes. Now Sheffield Eagles. Sovatabua, the big Fijian fullback. Pinkney, Senior, Morganson and Crowther. Maiko steps in for the injured Martin Wood. He's alongside Mark Aston. And the forwards, Broadbent, who's the captain, Lawless and Thompson, Carr and Turner, with Rod Doyle, the loose forward. And on the bench for them, Lawton, McAllister, Taiwa and Vasilikopoulos. Coach is John Keir. Well, this is the scene in the Wigan dressing room. And Wigan, they are aiming for a 6th consecutive Premiership final at Old Trafford. Their only slip during that time in 1993 against St Helens there. They've won the trophy for each of the past 3 years. This is the team, though, who hopes to stop them. Sheffield Eagles, who are bang in form. They've won 5 of their last 7 in Super League since returning from the World Club Championship. And included in their 5 victories, 1 against Wigan at the Don Valley. They beat London 58 points to 16 at the Stoop last Sunday to get here. One of the most stunning results of the 1997 season. But Sheffield, if they are to get to Old Trafford, they have to do something that they have never done before, because they are entering a ground here, Central Park, on which they have never won in their history, and they have been here 11 times trying, 10 defeats, 1 draw. But John Keir, their coach, was with us at the first semi-final on Friday at St Helens, and he expressed quiet confidence that perhaps Paul Broadbent could first of all stamp his authority on the match and claim a place in the British team to face the Aussies in November, and then lead his men to victory. So here come the Eagles, 9 victories in 1997. Now, as ever, they will score points almost at will, but they do have a habit of conceding them far too easily. But to be fair, John Keir has tightened his defence immeasurably in recent weeks. They'll be boosted by their recent form. Leeds away, Salford, Wigan and Warrington at home, all beaten. But last week's defeat of London at the Stoop, and then this semi-final, they're in confident mood. And this is the Wigan dressing room. Wigan have won their last 9 Premiership matches over the past 4 years. They beat Sheffield here in June by 58 points to 2. Tony Smith that day ran in 5 tries to equal the Super League record. But they lost 22 points to 24 in August at Don Valley, so there is just a little bit of caution flowing through the Wigan minds at the moment. But with home advantage, Wigan will start as overwhelming favourites. And they're aiming for a 4th consecutive Premiership triumph. That would be a new record. So Wigan, led by their captain Andy Farrell, emerge to the usual cacophony of noise. Well, they confirmed their status as second top scorers in Super League with 7 tries against Leeds in the last round of Super League. And they have the second best defence too, by the narrowest of margins, having conceded 1 point more than the Bradford Bulls. It's a perfect night for rugby league. Beautiful late summer's evening, and Andy Farrell, well, it's almost now like the annual pilgrimage that it was to Wembley. Old Trafford provides a wonderful finale to Wigan's season. At least it has done over the past 5 years. They want to make it 6 in a row here. Stuart Cummings is tonight's man in the middle. He's the referee, and Cummings is just about ready. Checked his watch, and this match, this second semi-final for the right to meet St Helens at Old Trafford, next Sunday afternoon is about to burst into life. It's going to be Sheffield Eagles to start the match. Mark Aston will get us in motion on the shrill blast of the referee's whistle, Stuart Cummings. And Aston kicks off. Wigan then will have first use of the football in this opening set of 6. And it's Gary Connolly who runs the ball straight out, and he runs straight into the figure of Darren Turner. First tackle of the match. This now Jason Robinson. Good tackling by the Eagles defence though. They look eager, they're certainly up for this. Hansen driving it in, but it was met by Paul Carr, the Australian. It was John Clark who was the dummy half. Now Andrew Farrell, and he drives the ball straight towards David Maiko. Head to head, as you can see, overwhelmingly it has been Wigan's 16 games, just the one draw here at Central Park in 1990 for the Sheffield Eagles. They'll have to do better than that tonight if they want to progress to the Premiership final. Now then, the Eagles have the use of the football, first time for them. This is Sovatabua, their massive Fijian full-back, and that's a great start for him. Bounced through 2 tacklers, but he's collared in the end by Connolly and Cassidy.
Tremendous run there by Sovatabua, but what a great effort from Sheffield. The opening set of 6 from Wigan, they struggled to get over the advantage line. The Eagles' defence was absolutely superb. It was that sort of defence that laid down the platform for their success against London.
But now they are on the attack.
Go away from him, get away! Get away from him!
And you can see that Darren Turner is pretty keen there to get going. Johnny Lawless in at dummy half. He finds Mark Aston. And Aston, he was practicing that ploy during the warm-up, and the ball comes out to Paul Carr, and the referee has got Sheffield for a knock-on. Well, that must have been almost a hairline decision.
Little doubt in the minds of the referee, but you can see from the replay, extremely difficult to see who actually did get a positive touch there. Perhaps it was a Sheffield Eagle hand. The referee Cummings is spot on with this one. Yep, looks like Keith Senior just got the fingertips to it, but it was a great kick by Mark Aston, but a good run from Horton.
Tremendous run from Simon Horton, back in the side after missing the match against Leeds last Monday. And here come Wigan with Farrell. Good ball back on the inside to Radlinski, and Radlinski gets Wigan to the halfway line. He plays the ball to Clark. Clark then gives it to Hansen. Hansen drives it up, but good defence again from Sheffield. This now is Smith. Smith to Paul. Paul to Connolly. And Connolly shaped to give it to Andy Johnson on an inside run, that in the end took the tackle from Big Mac Crowther.
Good work by the winger there. Crowther was not going to be sucked in with the dummy.
Here comes Horton again. Tried to go through Morganson, but Morganson did well with a little bit of help from Maiko also. Now Farrell with the outside of the left boot. That's a good kick. Smith's after it, but Sovatabua is calm, cool and collected. He allows Farrell's kick to run dead.
Under a lot of pressure there, the Wigan skipper, was not the best kick, just too strong in the end. Andrew Farrell had a tremendous season so far. Nominated, of course, in the Dream Team last week. But this Sheffield defence is very, very solid.
And here's Paul Carr. Paul Carr, he gets away from the tackle of Paul. Connolly was there and managed to delay the pass. The Wigan players are appealing that the ball went forward. Sheffield saying that a Wigan hand got to it. The referee just says play on, and then Sovatabua loses it. Wigan are back in possession with Radlinski.
Well, I'm not so sure that the fullback lost it. I think you'll find that Cassidy reefed it away, and there were 2 men there. That could have been a penalty, and perhaps should have been a penalty.
Solid defence again on Cowie, Broadbent. Broadbent and Cowie, of course, are a couple of contenders, no doubt, for the Great Britain Test team. That was Hansen with the drive. This now is Smith and Farrell with space.
Keeping an eagle eye on the big loose forward. Andrew Farrell has worked the blind side twice already.
Cassidy will drive it into the red zone, making good progress. This Eagles defence will have to work hard now. This is the danger zone, and here's Henry Paul, a danger man, pops it up to Robinson. Somertabua wraps him up. Robinson gets the ball away to Smith. Smith then gives it to Farrell, back on the inside to Smith. It's good stuff from Wigan, but a scrambling defence from the Eagles. Morganson got to him. Farrell dabs it through into the in-goal. Sometabua's there to clear up and does well. Gets himself out of trouble.
Good positioning by the Eagles full-back, anticipated the kick. It did come from the big loose forward, Andrew Farrell. It was well weighted too, but tremendous positioning there by Sometaboa. Did well to get into the open space.
Lawless was dummy half. The runner is Broadbent again, taking on Clark, and also sticking close to him is Neil Cowie. Clark didn't seem to like the run from Broadbent, and they're eyeballing each other just off the ball as Thompson carries it up to the 40-metre line. Cassidy is injured in that tackle, so Wigan are a bit short. This is a great run. What a fantastic run this is from Maiko. Maiko should have released the ball.
Why on earth did he not pass to Mark Aston, who was streaming up on the inside?
This is Rod Doyle now, and they give it width to Carr again, who goes up the middle through the gap, he thought, but Wigan closed the door on the last tackle. It's the turnover. But Maiko, perhaps he should have passed the ball, and Sheffield would have been celebrating the first try.
Definitely bombed it there. It was good work though by the standoff, David Maiko. This is where he made the break. Why on earth didn't he pass there? He threw the dummy where the cover was coming on the blind side. Mark Aston's face told all the world he should have got that football. You've got to take your chances if you're going to apply the pressure to Wigan.
So it's 0-0 and 6.5 minutes of the match gone. That's not the best pass. Ellison, who scored a hat-trick in last year's Premiership final, couldn't take that pass in. Was behind him.
Well, that really was meant for the centre, Chris Radlinski. Andrew Farrell yet again on the third occasion going on the blind side. Runs as a standoff, been playing more like a standoff, and there was no chance that the winger could get to that. Not the best pass from the Wigan skipper.
So Aston feeds the scrum, finds Maiko. Maiko then gives it to Morganson. Maiko again. Aston now. Doyle. He gives it to Sometaboa. Doyle goes into dummy half. Broadbent taking on Cassidy. John Keir with the eyes shaded, and I wonder what the eyes would have told us if we could have seen them after that Maiko run, when he should have passed to Aston and the chance went begging. But this is Maiko again now. He's 30 metres from the line, and Lawless was the dummy half. There's Turner. He tries to go through the gap, and Horton was quickly to him. Lawless again, trying to expose them from dummy half, flings out a wild pass straight into the arms of Simon Horton.
Trying to keep it alive there, the hooker, but to no avail. There was no support play there. Horton picks up the scraps.
It was on the last tackle, that, in that set of 6, so it would have been the turnover anyway, I suppose. But Wigan now got a head of steam with Farrell. Farrell's broken through, support arrives from Connolly. Connolly to Robinson, and Robinson takes on Crowther and dances past him and gets to the line. And did he get over?
Yeah,
the referee was going to hand it on to the video referee just to make absolutely sure, but I think Momentum has taken it across the line.
Little doubt about that. He does not move the arm, or does he? Bang, he slides, and Momentum definitely takes him over the whitewash. That will be a try, but it surprised me that Robinson, he just hesitated and tried to step when he was put into open space by the centre, Gary Connolly. But what a wonderful break by Andrew Farrell. And you'll see there's no movement of the arm. The momentum just took him over that white line. That'll be the first try.
Well, Jason Robinson and everybody here at Central Park waiting for that verdict, and the try is given. Momentum carrying Robinson across the line. It was a super attack led by Farrell, continued by Connolly, and Robinson danced around the fullback.
Second rower Paul Carr makes a big miss here. Head down to do the tackle and watch Carr go down. He should have gone lower onto the legs. He was fended off. Beautiful inside pass. Also a good pass from Connolly. But why on earth Robinson went in and out? Usually he just uses the speed. Either way, he picks up the first try. Throw the dummy. You can see there, they've just pulling through. Rod Doyle, the loose forward, went out wide. Carr failed to pick up Farrell, and this is the result. In and out. Super skills from Robinson. He's in fine form.
He is in excellent form, as you can see from the fact he's got tries rather, in 3 of the last 4 games against Sheffield here at Central Park, and 16 now for 1997. An immense talent, the Wigan fullback. Outstanding at fullback, Jason Robinson, for the last 5 matches. Here now is Andrew Farrell, who needs 8 points for that career 1,000 mark, and there's 2 of them. So Farrell inching towards a personal milestone, and Wigan inching towards Old Trafford. Eric Hughes, the Wigan coach, happy with the start his team have made, though it could have been so different, couldn't it?
There you see Doyle is a man arrowed, and the man circled was Paul Carr. The second row made a real meal of it, and you can see how Farrell just went straight through the gap. Carr failing to go low, fended away by the big loose forward. Tremendous try, good support play.
But it could have been 6-all, because Sheffield have certainly blown the chance of the opening try. Now Wigan have hit the front, they lead by 6 points to 0, 10 minutes of the match gone. And it's St Helens, of course, who are waiting for the winners of this match at Old Trafford in a week's time. Paul Carr gets the Eagles over the halfway line, tackled by Smith and Connolly. Lawless to Aston. Aston gives it width to Maiko. Maiko looks for the runner, who was the fullback, Somatapua.
Many of the fans thought that the fullback utilised one of the Eagles' players in front, but it did not interfere. That's not the best kick either.
Now Aston's kick bounced kindly for Robinson, and he's a real jack in the box, Jason Robinson.
Well, that surprised me, that the experienced Mark Aston kicking right into the corner of Robinson. Robinson playing full back, of course, but the last thing that they want to be doing is to provide him with as much possession. They really should be trying to keep the ball away from him.
Here's Farrell again. This Wigan machine is certainly purring once more, isn't it? No coincidence that Henry Paul and Robinson, Henry Paul in possession now, and Farrell are all in fine form. So too is Connolly. That's a good tackle though by Somatapua. Johnson is the dummy half. He gets the pass away to Smith. Here now is Cowie. Good tackling by Lawless, and also by Alex Thompson. Farrell drifts the ball over the top. That's a great kick. Pinkney collects, and Pinkney does well to get away from the danger zone there, but it was Simon Horton who was waiting for him.
Good power kick there from Farrell, and a good chase. But he did well though, did Pinkney. Came on the open side and then went back on the blind.
Alex Thompson played that ball. This now is Matt Crowther. Rod Doyle, and Henry Paul has obviously got a problem. He leaves the field, so Nigel Wright comes on, and Eric Hughes, I know, will be pleased to see Wright back in the fold, although he won't be happy to see Henry Paul gingerly making his way to the touchline there. That looks a serious problem.
He looked in a lot of pain. He certainly wasn't walking easy, and that will be a big loss to Wigan. The combination of Henry Paul and Tony Smith in the last couple of weeks has been quite outstanding. That's the reason why Wigan are really hitting top form. So a little bit of a reshuffle there, although Nigel Wright, an experienced standoff.
Knees in the kidneys maybe, Steve-O, from the look of that.
Certainly in the lower back region.
So Paul is off. Wigan having to rejig slightly, but Robinson, it's business as usual. He goes around Aston. Couldn't get away from the next two though.
Sheffield down to 12. There's one player in the back play. He's down and out.
It's Maiko, I think. The ball is clipped in towards the corner, looking for the speed of Connolly, but the ball beat Connolly.
Really on fire, Wigan. Again, the kicking game coming to the fore. turning the Eagles around on every occasion. And it's that man again, Captain Marvel, Farrell. He's involving himself in everything so far in the opening 14 minutes.
Halfway towards his average, kicking, Andrew Farrell. But that was a great kick. Scrum goes down. 2 weeks' time, don't forget, we are back here again for a massive match in the World Club Championship quarter-final. Wigan take on Australia's Hunter Mariners. Join us Friday the 3rd at 7.
That mistake there by the second rower, Darren Turner, who just lost control of that football. Not that Nigel Wright was standing away from him. There was definite contact there by the substitute Nigel Wright. But a big mistake from Turner. More pressure for the Eagles now.
Indeed, the scrum has gone down 10 metres from their line. Robinson to Connolly, and Robinson takes control of the situation again. And Robinson saw a little howl in the defence and went for it, but Crowther got to him. Andy Johnson to Lee Hansen, the big prop forward, and Lee Hansen, who's aiming for his first major final in the British game, plays the ball quickly. This is Cowie, flicks the ball out the back door rather carelessly, and luckily for Cowie it came off. Hansen was the first to react.
Well, I can't understand why Cowie on the second tackle wanted to keep that ball alive. They really should have just set up. Risky business.
Horton is grounded. Wigan, though, are 5 metres from the line. This is Tony Smith now. Tony Smith hit a brick wall then, and then Mark Aston dropped on him. Farrell to Wright. Nigel Wright pops the ball up, but straight into the arms of Aston, who had tracked back across with Andy Farrell. Well, that was good play.
Well read by the little half-back there. The experience of Aston showing, realising that it was getting to the last tackle, so they were trying to keep this ball alive. You watch how Wright spins in the tackle. That really was well spotted, wasn't it, by Aston?
Had a fine game last week, 11 goals successfully kicked, a brand new Premiership mark by Mark Aston.
Not only that, they really should have added a try to that tally when Maiko made that break through the dummy. Really was a try gone begging.
That's great defence from Farrell on Sovatabua. It's the last one here for Sheffield. It's with Broadbent, and Broadbent's going on the power play. I don't think he's heard the call that it is the last tackle. He gets the pass away though, and it's Aston. And the referee, I think, will play the first knock on.
Well, a big prop forward, Paul Broadbent, did very well there. Flicked it away.
Oh, it's Eagles head and feed this, and it's off Cassidy's arm. That's why.
Cassidy, well, he looks bemused, but there definitely was contact. And there you see, he deliberately went for there where Aston was trying to pass it. Well spotted by Stuart Cummings, the official.
Well, Broadbent looked like he was trapped, but they've come up with the goods, hasn't he? And what's more, this is Turner.
He's having a while of a game, is Darren Turner, made that mistake, but other than that, he's finding the gaps.
Maiko to Sovatabua. Sovatabua almost juggled with it and lost it. He's prepared to muscle in on them, and Connolly on a one-on-one stole the ball. How often has he done that this year, Gary Connolly?
Tremendous upper body strength. Gary Connolly, I remember a couple of years ago, he was the king champion of arm wrestling. That's how strong he is. I've seen the big guys, all the prop forwards, they can't match him. And it's quite embarrassing when he does do the arm wrestling against the big guys. There is no match.
Cowie plays the ball there to John Clark, who gives it a little bit of width. Hansen is trapped. It's with Farrell, who boots the ball straight down the throat of Matt Crowther. Well, let's get some news of Henry Paul. Here's Alistair Mann.
Henry had a problem almost immediately on impact. He clutched his lower back area. Earlier in the season, he actually had a problem with a disc in his lower back area that was causing him some problem. The back has a way of telling you when that area has been aggravated, and it's gone into spasm. Whether or not it's a recurrence of that disc problem, we're not sure just at the moment, but I don't think he'll be back out today.
And presumably he must be a doubt if Wigan get to the final, but Sheffield have got thoughts on that of their own. Morganson disappears under the challenge from Farrell. They've got plenty of time here in this set of 6. Doyle Wright gets to him, but Doyle is able to get the ball away to Aston. And here now is Maiko. What would Sheffield give for a try here? All this pressure, but as yet, nothing to show for it. Maiko plays it to Lawless. Lawless on one knee, gets the ball away to Carr. Carr to Senior. Senior couldn't get through Connolly. Good defence from the Wigan centre. Here's Maiko again. Maiko trying to just jink his way to the line, and Cowie and Clark are there to haul him down, but that is how close Sheffield are. And now it's with Aston, who stabs the ball in goal. That was a wonderful try-saving drop on the ball by Robinson.
Well, Mark Aston couldn't believe that. It was a beautiful place kick, and Robinson, the fullback, just plunked onto it. This was try time. Look at that. Talk about a slip catch in the cricket field.
Here though, come Wigan on the break with Radlinski. Radlinski over the shoulder to Robinson. Sovatabua went for Robinson and missed him. Robinson waits for the support. It arrives now from Johnson. And Andy Johnson! What a try for Wigan! What a season for Andy Johnson, who is really established now as one of the finishers in Super League. That's try number 14 for him. The back row forward converted to a winger. Eric Hughes has come up trumps with this fella.
What a talent, Jason Robinson. He saved a certain try, and from the second play the ball, he goes from dummy half, splits the Eagle defence. Good support there by Radlinski, and the never say die attitude of Robinson. Sovatabua went far too high, and what a great support there by Andy Johnson, the winger. Tremendous. This is the one where he just puts it through. Tremendous. He saves the try there. A few seconds later, he just went away from dummy half. It was poor marking by the first and second markers from the Eagles. Robinson again. Sovatabua really should have wrapped him up. Keeping it alive. Johnson throws the dummy, has the speed. Finishes it off with a swallow dive.
Well, he was a substitute in last year's final, was Andy Johnson. But I think if Wigan get there this year, Andy Johnson will be trotting out at Old Trafford. He has had a wonderful season. And so has this fellow, Andy Farrell. Eric Hughes, Wigan coach, watching as Farrell clips the ball towards the post, but just doesn't get the direction right. But Wigan are into double figures, 10-0.
Total confusion there at the play of the ball. You can see there are three Sheffield Eagles players there. One is turning with his back, and Robinson knows it. Bang, off he went. Broadbent, the big prop forward, he couldn't get anywhere near. And the speed of Jason Robinson again. Sovatabua will be ruining the fact that he went far too high, but well trailed by Andy Johnson.
Well, if Sheffield are to get to Old Trafford, they now have to do it tough, because they've given Wigan a 10-point start, and there's not many teams, even in this season of transition for the Warriors, who can afford to do that.
Well, two clean breaks by the Eagles. The first one, of course, came from David Maiko, where they really should have posted a try. Another good run from Darren Turner put them in that position where they could have scored a try.
Aston did well then. He got the ball away on the ground to Lawless. Lawless then to Broadbent. Broadbent back to Aston, who dummied to go one way, came the other, and Farrell knocked the ball out of Doyle's grasp.
I think that was fair, because of the previous pass looked a little bit forward from Aston. They got away with it though. But Andrew Farrell, his strength again. Quite a few in the Wigan camp do that these days. One-on-one, they reef the ball down. As long as it goes backwards, it's A-OK. This is the indication there. Look at that, the strength. All the time that they spent on those weights. Certainly paying off.
Smith, Wright, Farrell, Cassidy, through a big hole. He's got support from Tony Smith. They're flooding forward. Nigel Wright loses it. Ball comes back, and that was brave from Senior. Well, I thought Nigel Wright was going to crown his appearance at Central Park with a try.
Well, it would have been try time if Radlinski had got it. Nigel Wright still having problems with, of course, that bad ankle. been out of the game for such a long time, certainly lost the zip.
And now he's got a problem with the shoulder. He is a jinx, is Nigel Wright. He gets over one injury and he seems to pick up another. It has been an horrendous couple of years for him.
Good build-up play, though. You've got to admire the skills of Andrew Farrell again. He put the inside ball to Mick Cassidy, who went through a huge gap.
And Nigel Wright is holding on to his shoulder. I think he wants to leave the scene. He thinks he's dislocated the shoulder, and how unlucky can you be? That came off a Wigan player, but it was just a ricochet from Lawless's kick. The Wigan player, I don't think made a... No, he turned his back on it. Didn't make a play for the ball.
I think it was Tony Smith that just turned the back, as you mentioned. So this will be a head and feed, and Wright leaves the field, or does he? No, he's going back into a position.
He is. He's back in the defensive line, but his left arm looks just a little bit stiff, to say the least. Here's Cowie, puffs the cheeks out, takes them on, but Carr stood there and was helped out by Senior. This is Johnson now. Clark to Hansen. Lee Hansen trundles the ball over the halfway line. He arrived in the UK 6 years ago, has not been in a big game in a final in that time. Horton loses the ball.
It'll be a knock on.
It was stolen. Yes, it's a knock on.
Good tackle there by Morganson, did well. Whether it was helped is debatable.
I think Pinckney got a hand to it, don't you?
Looked that way. Either way, the big second rower Simon Horton has been deemed to have lost the football. Head and feed, should I say, to the Sheffield Eagles, who really have got to start looking to post some points on the board very quickly.
They might with this fellow, England international Nick Pinckney. Henry Paul has returned to the scene, but only on the bench.
But you could see him moving backwards and forwards, obviously in a lot of pain there. May have trapped the disc or a sciatic nerve or something of that nature.
This is Lawless.
Working hard.
He is working hard. He put his hand in the face of Connolly then to try and push him off, but Connolly will not be denied. And that's Broadbent who's gone without the ball.
Beautiful tackle by Lee Hansen. He knew that the inside pass was going to come from Mark Aston. He read it so well. And the brick wall Hansen was waiting. Broadbent would have felt that. Impact just releases the football. Good work there by Hansen.
Stand square, Tony. Stand square. Stand square.
So Wigan with the possession again, and that was not the best pass from Andy Farrell, but Gary Connolly got down to his bootlaces and held on. Off goes Danny Ellison. Gets Wigan over the halfway line. Nothing much to choose in the handling error count between these two. But Wigan with those two tries and the conversion, just the one of them from Andy Farrell. Here's Cowie.
Lawless a hooker. He caught a bang there. He's still looking a bit groggy.
Smith misses out Farrell and gives it to Horton. Now Connolly scampers away from dummy half. Farrell just puts the boot to ball, and it came back kindly on that occasion for Maiko. And the referee has got them offside, is it?
Yep, off Aston there,
yes,
and you could see that
Maiko came back, yeah.
Was a metre in front. Once again, we see the kicking ability from the skipper, Andrew Farrell, coming to the fore yet again. And there's little doubt that Maiko was in front. Not much that Mark Aston could do about it. It was fired in pretty strongly by the loose forward, Farrell.
Nothing much that Maiko could do either, to be fair. I mean, he went for the ball instinctively.
I wonder what's going through Maiko's mind. He must realise that he certainly missed the opportunity to put the Eagles in front early in this match. It was a wonderful break from him. The skills were on show, but when it came to the vital moment of releasing the football, he threw the dummy instead.
That's interesting. Henry Paul continues to warm up on the touchline, so maybe he's decided not yet to throw the towel in. Anyway, from the penalty, it's Andy Farrell now with this attempt to increase the Wigan lead to 12 and to take him ever closer that 1,000 point personal milestone. He's kicked it. Wigan ahead by 12 points to 0, and Farrell has got 4 of the 8 points he needs for the career 1,000.
Mr. Cool, the loose forward.
He got 9 goals against the Eagles here in June, by the way, so it's odds on paper that he will reach 1,000 points this evening.
With an impressive display by Wigan.
First penalty of the match, that, by the way, and that was for offside. 29.5 minutes gone.
Just shows you that both sides are pretty keen to play football rather than just mess around and make it a real hard slogging game.
Discipline from both sides then on show so far. Second tackle there on Rod Doyle. Here's Carr again. Carr, a prolific try-scoring second rower, and he's making his 145th appearance, by the way, for Sheffield Eagles today.
Nigel Wright coming to the touchline. He really was in pain there. He went into the tackle and struggled to get up from the ground. I think we've seen the last of Nigel Wright. What a jinx position it is for Wigan today. First Henry Paul comes off. Now his replacement, Nigel Wright, is off the field too.
He's battled his way back after injury upon injury, and look at that, that's a sad, sad picture. And the man who he replaced, Henry Paul, who left the field in absolute agony not 10 minutes, quarter of an hour ago, comes back for Wigan.
Be interesting to see how Henry Paul handles the first run. We'll certainly see whether Eric Hughes, the Wigan's coach, has taken a big gamble.
This, by the way, is Nigel Wright's first game back in the first team for 9 matches. And he's lasted, what, a quarter of an hour? He is having a dreadful run with injuries at the moment. You have to feel very sorry for him.
Well, you mentioned the word...
Connolly's got it again. He stole the ball once more.
You mentioned the word jinxed earlier, and I think it just sums him up, doesn't it? He came to Wigan with all the plaudits. He was going to be the new whiz kid. He certainly had all the skills and the talent, and injuries have robbed him from achieving any of that.
Well, Nigel Wright, who won a Man of the Match award in a Yorkshire Cup final against Sheffield in 1992, now leaves the scene of this particular match with an injury again, and he must be absolutely inconsolable. Farrell, meanwhile, hoists the kick to the in goal. The ball bounced back. Wigan have got it, and it's desperate defence now from Sheffield, and it has to be because the tackle count has been wiped down again. Wigan in possession with Horton, and Horton gets over for the next. It's rather like trying to stop the waves if your name is King Canute. And Sheffield have got no chance of doing that at the moment. Not when Wigan have got ahead of Steenup with a metre from the line.
The machine just rolls on, doesn't it? Horton running out wide yet again. It was a good kick. Farrell using the high bomb. Comes up nicely. Ellison did well. Look at the defence there. It sucks in 3 Sheffield defenders. And when it goes on the blind side, look at that. Morganson went out quickly, just went round in an arc. Watch him take the step. And where they were at the play the ball area, the gap opened up. Horton, an arc run towards the in goal. Nice try. The pressure told in the end. Desperation by the Sheffield Eagles in defence. But quick thinking there by Horton. He's had a fine season too. Hard man to stop, close to the line. Wigan are on fire.
Well, we've seen Simon Horton a few times this season getting tries in pairs, and John Keir now knows that his men from Sheffield have a real mountain to climb. Here's Farrell again. Another 2 points on offer here. It's the post. Still though, it goes over. When you're up, you're up, and when you're down, you are on the floor in this game. 18-0 Wigan.
6 defenders, look, they're going to the blind side. There's a huge opening there, and all the crosses in the middle of the field of play failed to fill in. It was far too late. The strength of the man was always going to score the try.
Okay, fellas, stay behind.
So Horton and the Farrell conversion. It's 18-0. And Steve-O, interesting that Wigan using that ploy of the high kick. Remember in the grand final in Australia yesterday morning, the high kick proved to be the undoing of the Cronulla Sharks in the end.
Well, it is a great option, isn't it? And when you've got a player like Andrew Farrell out on the field of play. Also for Sheffield, Mark Aston, though Sheffield's tactics have been to keep the ball alive. John Keir, their coach, said on Friday he had a few surprises and he wanted to just take them on, try to split this Wigan defence early. They did that, but they failed to get the points on the board.
Yes, you felt that was a golden opportunity that went begging. Aston with the kick downfield, and Andy Johnson collects it in goal. The referee now has got the Sheffield players for offside. They have to give him 10 metres grace, and Matt Crowther and company obviously did not do that, despite the fact the referee will have shouted to them as they chased Mark Aston's kick downfield.
Well, it was a good kick, wasn't it?
Either that or they might have been just in front of the kicker, Steve-O.
Just a couple of yards. Pretty noisy in that corner. Sometimes it's not easy to hear the referee. So he's got a pretty strong voice, as Stuart Cummings.
Cowie now. Wigan enjoying the better of the possession slightly. And as we are now just over 4 minutes from half-time, they have built a handy little 18-point cushion. And this is always a danger area for the opposition when Wigan are on the field, because they are so deadly in the minutes immediately prior to half-time.
Well, every time Wigan have made that clean break, they've posted a try. And that's been the difference between the two sides. Both defences working very hard. Not many opportunities, but when they are coming, Wigan are posting the 4-pointers.
That's a great kick from Farrell again. Radlinski was onside. He was behind the kicker. He got to Pinkney, and he comes back and gets him the second time.
Tremendous kick, tremendous chase. Second effort by Radlinski. They're up for it. They're not going to allow the Eagles back into this game.
Great strength. McAllister gets the pass away to Doyle. Doyle one-handed, gives it then to Aston. Aston to Pinkney. We've not seen too much of Nick Pinkney thus far. He's been starved of the football, really. He's a match winner on his day, the England international. Broadbent.
I think we might see a change in tactics by the coach John Keir to bring perhaps Nick Pinkney off the wing into the centres. Probably put out Willie Morganson onto the wing. I could understand the ploy before this game started that he wanted to try to use Morganson, his big strength, to block out Connolly and Radlinski.
Here's Pinkney. The pass from Pinkney was looking out wide for Morganson, and all it did was find touch.
It's not going right, is it? It was a desperation pass in the end. Farrell, as always, like good loose forwards do, tracking across on the angle, picked him up easy.
And the Wigan man lost it. He lost that. So this is Morganson trying to outmuscle Connolly. Connolly gets him down on the 20-metre line.
Good play there. He just lost it. Well, they're desperate for points now. They have to score to try to boost their confidence for the half-time break.
Doyle gets the ball back, and that's the big figure of Alex Thompson. And Thompson falls right in front of the posts. Lawless to Aston, and Aston switches the direction to Doyle, and Doyle goes for the line, but the strength of Connolly again, with a little bit of help from Robinson. Now Lawless, oh, he dropped it going for the line.
It was there.
Johnny Lawless dropped the ball as he went for the try. Oh no, he didn't.
Robinson knocked it down. What a tremendous effort by the fullback Jason Robinson. He just knocks it out of his grasp. 1-on-1. Connolly wasn't involved. Well, Lawless thought he had the 4 points that they needed. And you can see there that Paul... Now then, this is an interesting one. Paul moved off the mark. And I got the impression that Mark Aston was actually in front. Turner interfered, but he was trying to get back. Maybe the referee deemed that he didn't get back quick enough. I thought that Paul definitely moved off the mark where the tackle had taken place.
Cowie, little half break. Desperate defence from McAllister and Morganson. Here goes John Clark. Pinkney got to him, then 2 more closed in. Half a minute of the first half remaining. It's with Robinson, who's already caught the eye both in defence and attack in this semi-final. And the touch judge is coming on. He has seen something, obviously, and the referee will take a report.
23's on the swing at him. He's not connected. It's 23. All right. 23.
And the referee, Stuart Cummings, wants Nick Pinkney, and I think he wants John Clark as well.
Come on, Nick.
There's a bit of argy-bargy by the looks in back play.
Well, I think Pinkney threw a punch, didn't connect.
You've had the swing at him. Right, so the penalty's against you. Where is it, Frank? Over here. Yeah, here we go.
It's a penalty to Wigan, because Nick Pinkney had a swing at John Clark, although he did not connect.
Time on, Alex. Stop the clock. Time on.
Nice to see the touch judges and the official in the middle, Stuart Cummings, working together as a team. That's what they need, and not surprisingly, Wigan skipper Andrew Farrell says we'll take the 2 points on offer here just before the half-time break.
Indeed so. And so this is a very important kick as a result of the Nick Pinkney penalty, because if Andrew Farrell does land this, it'll be the 1,000th point of his wonderful career. This is why the penalty's been given.
Well, I thought it was a swing where it didn't connect. On that replay, there you see the elbow going across the face as well, but it was pretty high to start with. Well spotted by the flag waver.
So Andrew Farrell then, 3 out of 4, began the match wanting 8 for 1,000 points. This is a possibility for him, and he makes it with a wonderful kick. It arrowed over the crossbar, and Andrew Farrell makes it 20 points to 0 for Wigan. But from a personal point of view, perhaps more importantly, the Great Britain and England international reaches 1,000 points in his career. And remember, Andy Farrell is still only 22 years of age. Tremendous effort from Farrell, great effort from Wigan as Turner and company leave the field. The Sheffield Eagles know they have a lot to do to get back into this match in the second half. Wigan are 1/2 away from Old Trafford. They lead here by 20 points to 0 at half-time. And hasn't Jason Robinson caught the eye already? Kingpin in defence, Quicksilver in attack.
Valderrama, September the 26th. The Ryder Cup. All the emotions of sport packed into one weekend. Are you ready? Ready to live every shot? Ready to experience every hole? Ready to share the pressure all the way? The honor of Europe is at stake. Be a part of the team that defends the Johnny Walker Ryder Cup. Exclusively live coverage sponsored by Ford. Starting Friday, 7 a.m. on Sky Sports 1.
Bottle openers, welcome. This is V2. That's a lie. This is V2. The bottle just comes with it. This is where your money's going. And it's money well spent. Books should not be bought for their covers.
Dying moment. One last attack. Shearer setting off through the centre. Long ball to Shearer. Shearer! An unbelievable goal!
Lucozade Sport is designed for top athletes. It delivers fluid and energy fast, so I'm always ahead of the game.
When we bought this house,
Jim's advice was really helpful.
and when we had the twins,
Jim helped us to work things out.
Jim's a vital part of this community. He's not a doctor or a teacher. Actually, he's an insurance man.
What makes me different is I work for Royal London. I come from round here, so I know these people really well. And because I know them better, I can advise them better, which is why I've got a few satisfied customers.
Royal London, on hand for a lifetime's insurance needs.
For clothes as fresh when you open the wardrobe as they were when you opened the washing machine, all you need is Bold, with its built-in quality softener. It's specially designed to wash into your clothes, to give you just washed freshness that lasts. Bold, the softener's built in, and so is the freshness.
In Starland, people are made from deliciously light and bubbly chocolate from Milky Way. Here's Bright Star with a bright idea. Milky Way Magic Stars. The magic's in the Milky Way.
Wouldn't it be great if you'd known exactly what was involved? Wouldn't it be great if you always knew what was happening? Wouldn't it be great if people always told it to you straight? And wouldn't it be great if it was easy to sort out your finances? Call Virgin Direct, and it is. If you want straight talking, we're Virgin Direct.
Premiership football coming up on Monday night here on Sky Sports 1. Stan Collymore returns to Anfield with his new club, Aston Villa, as they take on Liverpool. And then on Wednesday, it's Coca-Cola Cup action over on Sky Sports 2 as Nottingham Forest go to Walsall, seeking revenge in the second leg of their second round tie. That's live football coming up on Monday and Wednesday night. Right now, it's the semi-final of the Premiership in the Super League, and Wigan are coasting by the looks of things to Old Trafford. They lead at half-time by 20 points to 0. Robinson, Johnson and Horton with the tries, and Andy Farrell with the 4 goals, which take him past the 1,000-point mark for his career. The first of many thousands of points, I think, for Andrew Farrell in this game, and leading by example. But how different it might have been had David Maiko passed the ball to Mark Aston instead of hanging on with just 5 or 6 minutes of this game gone. Sheffield then would have been ahead. As it is now, Steve-O, it looks like mission impossible.
I think it is, and I know it's an old cliche, but you have to take your chances. And unfortunately, Sheffield, after a bright start in the opening 10 minutes, they failed to put points on the board, and then it was just a case of the old machine just getting back into the business. The combination of the forwards working wide, Horton and Farrell controlling things out there. The kicking game, obviously a ploy that Eric Hughes has been telling them. A big job there in the dressing room for John Keir. They look a little bit despondent, and rightly so. I think that John Keir, he had the right tactics. They really did attack out wide, the Wigan defence, and there were quite a few little gaps appearing there. But you have to get points on the board. You must apply pressure to a team like Wigan, especially here at Central Park. That's when they start making their mistakes. They are capable of making many mistakes, but you have to apply the pressure, and I'm afraid they failed to do that.
Is it too early after 5 or 6 minutes, as we saw, to have seen the turning point of a match, because I've got the feeling that that was when the game swung almost irreversibly in Wigan's favour.
I think so. I think that the fact that Mark Aston's kicking game was very good, and in fact it was very early in the game that a high kick from Aston, and you can see they had the opportunity. It was Senior just was deemed to have got a hand to that. If it had been play on, I think you would have found that Carr, the second row, would have gone in for a try. There was no one there, and that really was a chance that went begging.
The thing with that, Steve-O, is the referee could, to be fair to him, he could have decided to let play go on and then go back and have a look at it on the video ref if Sheffield had got over for the try.
I think that he was quite confident that Senior's arm came up. He was in a good position. It just went against them. But of course, this was a moment that you were talking about when Maiko made the break. Silky skills. He's taken a beautiful step there, and you can see how he just beats him. And look how he throws the dummy. Why on earth he did that? And he came right back into the chance. Robinson thought, well, it is going to be my day. And it certainly was, because it was Robinson that posted the first try. Beautiful break by Farrell. You could see how they went out wide there. Loose forward Rod Doyle went through. Carr went far too high. And the combination back on the inside. Connolly. Did surprise me a little bit that Robinson sort of did a shimmy. Either way, there was never any doubt. He didn't move the arm. It was momentum that took him over. In this situation, just hold it there. We've just seen that Robinson has stopped a certain try, and you can see that there are 3 men, and they are so confused at the play the ball area. He is dynamite, this kid. He just shimmies and away. And full credit, though, the support play, which has been quite superb from Wigan in this first 40 minutes. Back on the inside. He had a chance, Sovatabur. He really should have put Robinson away, and Robinson, beautiful little pass out wide there, and Andy Johnson. Full credit to the winger, the support player. He liked it, a swallow dive against the Eagles. Why not? Then the break from Cassidy. It was a lovely pass on the inside from Farrell that sent him away onto Wright, and this was the incident that Wright picked up the bad shoulder injury. Good cover defence. Radlinski was also in the frame. He could have got the football there. And then out wide, look at the kick. This is the kick again. Farrell has been in devastating form, applying the pressure. It's going anywhere, and from the resulting play the ball here, and just as we run it on, good effort, scrambling defence, but that was the trouble. The scrambling defence wanted to go on the blind side. As we play the ball here, you'll see quite clearly, hold it there. There are 6 Sheffield players, but look at the gap here. These guys are just stood watching. They really should have come in and filled. Failed to do it, and there you see Horton. Good arced run, good effort, so strong. He's had a fine season too. And just to make matters worse, Doyle went very, very close. The strength of Gary Connolly, we've seen that in the first half, both in attack and defence. Kick through, Robinson. How quick thinking was that from the full back? It looked as though that the hooker was in for a try. It looked that way. I thought he'd dropped it. So did you, but it was Robinson, one-on-one. You can do that. But should that have been a knock-on?
Well, that's a debatable point, isn't it? But we're inside the Wigan dressing room again now, and I must say, Steve-O, in all the euphoria of Wigan's first half performance, I think we ought to mention poor old Nigel Wright once again. I mean, he is that him there at the front of the shot? I'm not so sure that it might be. Yes, it is. Nigel Wright getting the jersey on.
Well, maybe he's just sprung the shoulder.
Well, maybe so, but I mean,
they could have put the shoulder back in. And
what's he done? I mean, if a gypsy's obviously knocked at his door and he hasn't bought the pegs, you know, I mean, he's had such bad luck, hasn't he?
And the price of pegs these days, I mean, it's. I know we laugh about it, but he really has tried very, very hard. I mean, there's no one tries harder in regards to getting his fitness back. I mean, he's been sidelined in hospital 4 or 5 times. A really bad problem for him, and let's hope that he will come back in the second half.
Let's hope so anyway. Now then, it's time for your votes in the second half for the Man of the Match competition, and we'll ask you to ring that telephone number at the usual time with around about 20 minutes of the game remaining. And if you name the Man of the Match correctly and you come out of our hat first, you could win one of these, a Sony PlayStation video games console, which the Man of the Match will also take home with him tonight. So you could have something in common with one of the stars of the Super League. If you ring that number, And as I say, we'll tell you when during the course of the second half, with about 20 minutes of the match remaining. But as we always say, make sure you get permission from whoever pays the bill before you pick up that telephone, and I say that with bitter experience. Right, let's just look forward then to the second half, because Wigan are nearly on their way to Old Trafford. Wigan are ahead by 20 points to 0, and it looks like Wigan against Saints in the Premiership final next week. But we shall see. Do the Eagles have something up their sleeve?
Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman in Seven, one of Sky's mega movies, tonight at 10:15 on the Movie Channel.
You simply can't resist the tantalizing aroma of the new KFC Zinger Tower Burger.
Chicken.
How does Billy get his plate down and still find out what's on telly? Well, some of these TV guides have just satellite or cable, some are strong on BBC, ITV and so on, but leave you wanting more satellite. Wouldn't it be great if you could bring the best bits together in just one magazine? You can! It's TV and Satellite Week. Loads of info on over 80 channels, including BBC and ITV. It's weekly, it's always bang up to date. TV and Satellite Week. Leaves room for Billy's plate and his lucky aardvark. TV and Satellite Week. Simple.
Kellogg's Sustain is the only cereal specifically designed for sportsmen like Henman. Serve after serve after serve. And that winning blend of light flakes, juicy raisins, almonds and apple does help keep you going every morning. Go the distance with Kellogg's Sustain.
The silky, smooth... Hey, what are you moping around over there for? Why don't you bog off back to Greenland?
Float away with an arrow.
Isn't it amazing how Wrigley Spearmint Gum represents the journey through life on a never-ending minty highway?
Wow.
You know, chewing that cool, fresh, long-lasting Wrigley Spearmint Gum, you look okay.
That's the sweetest darn thing anyone's ever said to me.
What are you doing for the rest of your life, Sugar Lips?
Nothing.
Let's go chew some gum in the fast lane.
Hit that minty highway, Norman.
October on Sky.
Featuring 4 mega movies.
Call the president. Tell him how much fun we're having.
Jean-Claude Van Damme. Come and get me. Sudden death.
Can't hide from him. I'm not crazy.
Bruce Willis, Brad Pitt, 12 Monkeys.
Seek my treasure, have you?
Open fire!
Gina Davis.
We set sail for Cutthroat Island!
We have a situation here. Wesley Snipes, Woody Harrelson, Money Train.
In sport, England clash with Italy. On Sky Sports 1, Luis V. Gallotta heads a huge night of boxing. And on Sky Box Office, the pay-per-view event features Collins v. Calzaghe and The Prince. New British drama.
90 minutes of passion.
Dream Team.
Hi, everybody.
Brooke Shields in a brand new comedy.
Must be incredible, making a difference in people's lives.
The brand new series of ER.
Coming soon, rugby union hots up as England take on the might of the Southern Hemisphere. And John Travolta stars in Broken Arrow.
It's all happening on Sky.
From October.
Coming up on Sky Sports 1, it's the golf event of the year. Europe versus the USA in the 1997 Ryder Cup. The opening ceremony is live on Thursday afternoon at 3, and then the match coverage from Friday morning at 7. The only place to see all 3 days of the 1997 Ryder Cup live is right here on Sky Sports 1. Right now it's half-time in the Premiership semi-final. Wigan are ahead by 20 points to 0 against the Sheffield Eagles. And St Helens, of course, waiting for the winners of this one in the final next Sunday at Old Trafford. Here are the statistics from the first half. Only 4 penalties awarded, and all of them to Wigan. And all the 4 attacking kicks and the kicks in general play have come from the boot of Andy Farrell. So Farrell, as usual, dictating the course of this match. Sheffield have dropped off 16 tackles compared to the 9. They've made 5 clean breaks though, but Wigan have made 8. And they've tried to keep it going with 14 offloads, Sheffield Eagles. 18 times in possession. They have completed their sets of 6 11 times, both teams. 20 times in possession for Sheffield, and metres gained, well, we're going to going forward just a little bit further than the men from Sheffield. So Henry Paul will restart once the referee blows the whistle and allows him to go. Ahead by 20 points to 0. There's the whistle, there's the kick, and so Sheffield with a 20-point gap to make up, and it's going to be tough for them. There's no doubt about that at all. A ground that they have never, ever tasted a win on. They got close 7 years ago with a draw, but now they have the first penalty of the second half, and their first penalty of the match.
Hansen, the big prop forward, laying all across his opposite number, Broadbent. They tried hard in the first half, Broadbent, some nice offloads, but to no avail.
Fetu Taiwa, the former New Zealand Test winger, has come on. David Maiko has gone off. Maiko had a fitness test on the field during half-time, trying to run a problem off, obviously. It's with his knee. He hasn't been able to do that, and so Fetu Taiwa will play in this second half. Let's hear the news from the Sheffield dressing room. Here's Alistair.
Well, John Keir is certainly a man who believes that the way that his side have improved over the latter part of this season, there's no reason that they can't get back in. He believes they've had the chances. He believes that they've bombed them at very vital moments, but there's a feeling in the dressing room that they have played so well that there's still a good 40 minutes left in them. Just a little word about Nigel Wright. He's had some treatment on that shoulder injury, and he wants to brave it in the second half if he needs to.
Good on him. And you get the feeling that if Sheffield are going to do anything in this match, they're going to have to score early in this second half. But with defence like that, it's going to be so tough for them. Connolly again.
Tremendous take there by the centre, Connolly, but he was well shielded. You could see Henry Paul was in there helping, so was Robinson.
Sheffield trying now to keep Wigan penned near their own line. Cassidy makes about 8 metres. And there's a Sheffield player flat out. There was a clash of heads there, I think, in that original tackle before Cassidy got up and scampered a few more metres further forward. And he's clutching his face, whoever it is. He's flat out on his back.
Well, this is how you protect the man. You can see how Robinson and Paul went across. Good call in between the 3. And Gary Connolly come up with it.
I think that might be Matt Crowther who's flat on his back. I'm not sure, but... or is it Rod Doyle? Anyway, whoever it is, he's receiving treatment, and at the moment Sheffield are down to 12 men as Sovatabua tries to run the ball out. It's Doyle.
It was Cassidy that did he collide with the head?
Yeah.
Or was it the handoff?
Clash of heads.
Doyle's coming back, somewhat dazed. Been plenty of power plays out there. It's been a tough one.
Alex Thompson's dropped to the ground. Lawless is the dummy half. Now it's with Broadbent. Paul Broadbent, the Sheffield captain, will not take a backward step. Great Britain international, you would expect nothing else. And Turner showed up well early on, Darren Turner.
Turner using his boot there, and it's connected with one of the Wigan players.
John Clark Aston's kick, meanwhile, finds touch.
Mark Aston will definitely keep plugging away. He's the architect of this Eagles side. This is the incident, and you could see that was pretty dangerous play there by Turner. A lack of concentration in the brain box there from Turner, and luckily it caught Clark's arm and not his head. And I think the young hooker is agreeing with me, saying, yes, I am lucky that it didn't connect with my head.
Referee Stuart Cummings has a word with Turner as Neil Cowie leaves the field. Here's Horton, meanwhile, for Wigan. Terry O'Connor has come on for Neil Cowie. So that's a straight swap, prop for prop, and there is O'Connor. This is Hansen.
Eric Hughes, the Wigan coach, obviously bringing out Terry O'Connor to settle things down.
Farrell's through two. Just an ankle tap on him, but he's still able to get up off the field. Thought about dumping the ball over the top, but eventually the Sheffield defence got to him. But another little run from Farrell lifts Wigan again, and Paul drifts the ball over the top. Invitation to Radulinski to run. Sovatabur is there. Sovatabur gets there first.
Beautiful little kick over there, and you could see Robinson had just gone in front.
Referee's bristle has gone.
Not standing
moving
square.
Off the mark. Robinson
hasn't heard the whistle. Still wants to continue on. He's a live wire. But it was interesting to see when Paul, this is Farrell, and what a great ankle tap there by Aston, who was coming across. He's in the sweeping role, he's a little halfback. And this was a good kick and chase. And from this play of the ball, Robinson moved away. Just not much in it.
That's better.
Having a fine game again, Jason Robinson. Alex Thompson now.
That's one.
He's played all six since he returned to the side against Wigan last month, when Sheffield had the better of a 24-22 scoreline. But that was at Don Valley, and this is Central Park, where the Eagles have never won in their brief history.
They're going to find it even harder as the game goes on, because this Wigan defence is pretty solid. They're moving up quickly out wide, forcing Sheffield down that middle, but this guy's having a tough game.
Yes, he saw a hole then and went for it, did Lawless. Made some good meters. This is Aston now, and he will float the ball out wide. Crowther gets a hand to it, keeps the movement going. Tywer flicks the ball inside. Another kick. Another little examination of Radulinski, but Radulinski leapt and claimed that high kick.
Beautiful take there by Radulinski. Well spotted and good position by Stuart Cummings, because Radulinski took off from inside the field of play. It was not a defusing of the bomb. So he jumped from the field of play, and that's the reason why he struggled to get out there. Fine catch.
Solid season from Chris Radulinski.
Never lets you down, that is for sure. Lack of concentration there. Paul not realising that Andy Johnson was just about to come back on the inside. If looks could kill. Stylish passer, isn't he? Standoff, Henry Paul. Sways the body, follows the ball through. Perfect execution, but not on that occasion. It went to no one. That winger Johnson coming back on the inside.
So Sheffield with the possession from the scrum. And there's Turner again. Tywer, Aston, and Aston then to Doyle. They're so quick out of the defensive line, though, Wigan. They shoot out, and the man in possession of the football with very few options. Here's Broadbent, trying to out-muscle Clark.
Well, it's important that Wigan keep at it, even though they've got a pretty commanding lead. Oh, he dropped that.
He did, and he didn't play it.
And they got that 20 points lead. It's still vital that they keep the Sheffield Eagles out.
Aston gets the pass away. Here's chances for McAllister. He gets over. Danny McAllister. Good try from Sheffield, just what they wanted. And the Australian substitute, Danny McAllister, who got a try against Wigan in the win at Don Valley last month, has come up trumps again.
Beautiful play by the halfback Mark Aston. Holds the ball up. See how he used the dummy runner coming through. That was superb there. Notice how he uses Keith Senior, the big centre. Senior thought he was going to go through. He was upset, but McAllister said, I'll get it, don't worry. Smart thinking there by Mark Aston. Best way to use the dummy runner is when you tell them that they're going to get it, and when they don't, they blow up. But not when a man scores like that. That was a fine execution, great try.
Just what the doctor ordered, and Mark Aston now with a great success rate this year, 80%, but not on that occasion. Well, they could have done with those 2 points. As it is, they've got 4. But John Keir's got the start he wanted, and I think he would have liked the extra 2.
There you see Senior. He's trailing on the arc, and there's little doubt in my mind that Mark Aston has said, you're going to get it. He really did blow up, did Senior, until he saw McAllister go over. Great play by Sheffield. Lovely pass from Mark Aston. Well finished by that man.
Yes, he's having a great time in terms of try scoring. Formerly with the South Queensland Crushers, Danny McAllister. Now then, can we expect a fight back? It would be one of the comebacks of all time if Sheffield were to come back and pinch this. But with 10 minutes of the second half gone, they have half an hour in which to do exactly that. And that try will have lifted their spirits.
Sure will, and it's been one of the seasons where we've seen many fightbacks, none more so than Saints on Friday. They really did look dead and buried at 18-2. Castleford in full control there. And as I mentioned, Wigan cannot afford to just ease off the gas.
Good tackle by Broadbent on Smith then. Here's Farrell. Farrell just drops the ball over the top. That's a good kick. It means Sovatabua must run this ball back out at them. Ellison's to him with help from Radlinski.
Wonderful kick yet again from Farrell. And the kick is only as good as the chase, which was up to scratch. On the Richter scale, according to Wigan, they really do the kick and chase game so well.
Just been reminded, Steve-o, about the one of the comebacks of this season was by this Sheffield Eagles side in the World Club Championship against Perth, remember? They were 22-2 down at one stage, and they came back and won it with that never-to-be-forgotten Nick Pinkney try. And with runs like that from Darren Turner, their confidence will rise.
How could I ever forget that game? You nearly lost your voice. I'm still hoping that may happen one day.
It might. Here's Lawless. Well, Sheffield encouraged by the start they've made. A bit too deep, though, on the kick. It was easy for Radlinski.
Bit of a wasted effort there. It was a rushed effort. You can see that Radlinski had all the time in the world. But they certainly stepped up a gear as the Eagles.
And Aston is collared by the referee for holding down. I think he tried to kid Stuart Cummings, and Cummings would not be kidded.
Well, there's little doubt that Aston was trying to ensure that Robinson couldn't get up quickly and play the football. The experience in Aston there, not getting away with it on this occasion. He realises how quick this Wigan outfit are when they're on quarter. So many tries are scored by this Wigan outfit from their own red zone.
Clark to the number 17, Stephen Holgate, England international, recently on. Cassidy. Big collision with Turner. Lawless is after him as well.
He's fired up as Turner. And Cassidy's gone looking. A few words are being said to each other.
That was forward, yes, from Farrell out wide, the forward pass.
Well, they're losing the plot somewhat, the Wigan outfit. And you could see that there was little doubt. The high shot will show you very clearly that it was about half a metre forward. Just gone off the boil, but you can put that down to the big effort from the Sheffield Eagles. They are not going to throw the towel in. To go in at Central Park 20 points to 0 down at half-time is a big ask, and full credit to them. They've come out firing.
Here's Senior. Keith Senior, who went on the tour in 1996, leading try scorer last year, being watched by Eric Hughes, the Wigan coach, who knows that these maybe are very important minutes of this match that we're watching now, because the Eagles, their confidence has lifted visibly since that try.
Good tackle by Farrell on Broadbent. It had to be as well. It's a nice little work move. You mentioned Keith Senior, of course. He's just signed a long-term contract to stay with the Eagles.
Aston hoists the kick again. Robinson comes for it and spills it. Sovatabua gets it back. It's going to be 6 to go this for Sheffield. Broadbent. Oh, Ty was lost it.
That's play on, though. That's play on.
It was, and it's 6 again.
One-on-one. The crowd can shout. They can do whatever they like. It's one-on-one. He'll be happy.
So a big chance here for the Eagles again then. Doyle turns the ball back. This is Dale Lawton. Good tackling by Stephen Holgate. Lawless scampering away from dummy half. Caught by Connolly. They've still got 4 tackles left. No need to panic yet, Sheffield Eagles. That's a bad ball. That's a shocker, but that's going to be 6 to go. Another 6 to go.
What on earth was Rudlinski doing there, kicking it? He should have gone for the possession.
Referee's not wiped the tackle count clean. The count still goes on. This is Morganson. That's the second tackle. Looked like Radlinski got a foot to that, but, well, we'll debate that after this attack eventually breaks down.
But why didn't he drop on the football? He'd all the time in the world to regain possession there, Radlinski. Big mistake, and they could pay for it.
Here's the last tackle for Sheffield. They're 8 metres from the line. Aston, good ball. Turner dabs it to the in goal. A big race on, and Andy Johnson, did he get a hand to it? He did. He tapped it dead, so it's a drop out from underneath the Wigan sticks.
Couldn't take the gamble. You'll see his hand just get there, about 6 inches away from the blue line. Why on earth did Radlinski? He definitely touched it, but why didn't he drop on the football?
Little decisions like that just turn matches, don't they? And Sheffield, well, at least they've got another set of 6 coming up now, once they get this drop out from Andy Farrell. Oh, and Aston has missed it completely, but Pinkney hasn't. And the England international will run it back at Wigan. Strong run too.
Well, the Wigan coach, Eric Hughes, has to get the message out to his players to stop thinking of Old Trafford next Sunday. They've still got plenty of work to do here.
Lawless dummy half. Aston, good ball. He finds, in the end, the number 16, McAllister. And this is Lawless! And Lawless has got another! Tremendous try from Johnny Lawless. And the little hooker deserves that. He deserves every one of those 4 points, because he has really been enthusiastically up for this game. And John Keir knows, I think, that this game is not over yet.
4 markers, first and second. They allowed the hooker to go away. They were very tired, those 2 markers. The hooker wasn't. He's ecstatic, and why not? From the dummy half exit there, not the best attempt from Paul, but first and second marker. Hughes will be spewing over this one. That really was well taken by the hooker Lawless. He's having a fine match. Capped it off with a try. The Eagles, they've flown back into this game big time.
He's waited a long time for his 4th try of the season, but it's so important to Sheffield, and Mark Aston just said to himself then, come on, put this over. And I think he's kicked it. Aston's kicked it, and the Eagles are right back in it now, 20 points to 10.
Lazy markers there. You can see Paul is just a yard back as well. That was important. And soon as he stepped there, what a tremendous opportunist try. And the look on Eric Hughes' face lets everybody know that Wigan are not rolling towards Old Trafford yet.
Well, they were at half-time. They led 20 points to 0, but we've had 17.5 minutes of this second half, and Sheffield are making them sweat and are making a fight of it. Another try for the Eagles now, and it will become very interesting. And you only have to go back to that incident in the 4th minute. Had Maiko slipped the pass to Aston and they'd come up with a try, who knows?
Big word, isn't it, if? But there's still plenty of football here, and that's panic play.
O'Connor slipped the pass. Clark retained possession, found Robinson. He finds Smith, and Smith is going to take him on. And he loses the ball. Senior dropped on it.
What a time to come up with a mistake. Good play by Carr, though. He got back, swung him around like a rag doll, and Tony Smith's impact on the ground jostled the ball free. The crowd are trying to lift the Wigan Warriors. The Eagles really are flying now.
Lawton, he swung a punch down at Farrell, and Farrell looked to the referee and said, what's going on? But the referee has not given the penalty.
What on earth did Dale Lawton do that for? That could have ruined any chances if it had been seen by the official, and obviously the touch judges never saw it. We did.
Everyone in the ground did. Paul Carr plays the ball. It's with Aston again, and he hoists the midfield bomb. It's gone straight up in the air, and Aston's the man underneath it, and that hit Connolly, and the referee's given a knock-on now. But I'm sure that Mark Aston was looking at us up here in the commentary box. How's that a knock-on?
Went backwards. And there was little doubt that Connolly, well, dearie me today, definitely missed it on the first attempt. Went through the hands, but it definitely went backwards. Tension on the face of the coach, John Keir.
That was a big call from Stuart Cummings. And a wrong call too, in my opinion.
Well, to be fair, they should have been penalised, Sheffield, for Lawton striking out at Andrew Farrell when he was on the marker.
Here's Farrell, now Cassidy. Smith again, still going Smith, and again collared by McAllister. Wigan looking to respond in the manner for which they've become famous. A dink over the top from Farrell. Well watched though that by Matt Crowther, and he sets Sovatabur away. Big strong lad this. It's still the zero tackle with Senior, and Senior's gone through too. Great progress.
They're missing the tackles, Wigan. They're expecting Sheffield to just lie down and die, and they are not doing that. But good work though by the number 6, Matt Crowther. He got back to take that kick from Farrell.
And the missed tackle count is level pegging on both sides at 16. Sheffield are back in this. They can smell a little bit of glory. They can smell a comeback.
Terry O'Connor injured. You can see him just being trotting back now into the line of defence. They're going through the wars of Wigan.
Broadbent, straight up the middle, releases the pass. Connolly, great tackle on Doyle, and he's nicked it again. How many times tonight, never mind the season, has Gary Connolly done that?
Well, they'll rename him the Thief after that one. Well, what pressure is being applied? Who would be a coach? Gary Connolly comes to the rescue yet again.
Here's Robinson.
Well, he's a guy that can really just swing it their way. Tremendous effort, though, from Connolly. Remember, he played all through the first part of the season with a bad injury.
Farrell hit that ball at pace, and he gets it back to Radlinski, who gave him the pass. And Radlinski keeps the movement going to Paul. Here's Cassidy. He flicks it to Robinson. And Robinson, well, the referee...
Well, Robinson nearly gave himself up there, and he's lost it.
Oh, he's got the penalty.
He's deemed it to have been knocked out. Well, Robinson nearly gave the game away. He used a Wigan player to run through. There he goes back on the inside there. See how he shows the dummy? And he stopped. He thought the referee was going to blow up.
Got to stand somewhere, and he didn't move.
And there you see, just a little hand in.
Well, you can hear Stuart Cummings telling the Sheffield Eagles defence that Tony Smith it was who was used as a part shepherd, was just standing there, and he wasn't used as a foil at all. He had to stand somewhere, said Stuart Cummings. Why in front of the man carrying the ball?
Well, you could see the expression on Jason Robinson's face. He thought he was going to get the whistle. Just watch, he stops and then looks at the referee. You going to pin me? You going to whistle? And Stuart Cummings says, listen, it's got to stand somewhere on the park. And Tony Smith said, that's my spot. Seen them given though before. This will be a vital 2 points.
It is, and a man of Andrew Farrell's capability should kick this, and kick it he has. Now then, the captain's trying to wind them up for a big last quarter of the game. 12 points now, 2 converted tries. The gap Can he breathe a little easier, the Wigan coach, Eric Hughes? Just rolling the sleeves up, now pulling them down again. Maybe it's a bit chillier than he thought.
Maybe he wants to get out there and sort a few things out, because he cannot be impressed. He must be impressed with the fact that the Eagles are playing very good football. They have not been overawed by it all.
Well, Castleford weren't on Friday at St Helens, and as John Keir was telling us as he made his way from the studio to his car to journey his way home, he said providing his players come off the field and he can hold his head up tonight, he'd be happy, and I think he will be able to be happy. Man of the match, you can vote now, 0891 66 55 25. Ring in now with your vote for the outstanding player in this Premiership semi-final. A Premiership semi-final that has a quarter of an hour to run, and that could yet have a couple of little interesting twists and turns on the road to Old Trafford.
Neat play there by Mark Aston. He was put under a lot of pressure by his opposite number, Tony Smith. Good work by Johnson as well.
Just managed to hang on to his ankle then. The Premiership final, you can see it with us on Sky Sports 3 next Sunday at 6:30. We'll have both the finals for you, the big one, St Helens against whoever, and the divisional Premiership final as well, which I can tell you has been settled today, and that will be contested between Hull and Huddersfield. So we will have it all for you Sunday evening at 6:30. The games, though, are played during the day next Sunday. 11:30 kick-off at Old Trafford, 3:30 the kick-off for the big one. And really, just as with the first test at Wembley on the 1st of November, any self-respecting rugby league fan dare not miss big occasions like that. And big occasions like this, Britain, Australia, November the 1st at 1:30, we'll be there on Sky Sports 1. And it would be great to see Wembley packed to the rafters. Let's hope it is.
Bad mistake by Henry Paul. Went without the football.
That's one, clear, clear.
Well, mistakes coming fast and furious now for Wigan. They really know they're in a battle. And I think that the message from Eric Hughes would be to just calm things down. Do not panic. That is the key to Wigan. Sheffield are the side that have to play catch-up football. They've got to take the risks.
Sheffield, Morganson, keeping the ball alive, taking risks. They have to. They're playing catch-up. Broadbent looping pass. Oh, it just came off for him. You have to credit Taiwo for his bravery then under pressure from Johnson, and the little kick just slid through into the touchline just to turn Wigan around a bit.
Quick thinking there by Carr into the dummy half quickly. Realised that Johnson had come in, do the tackle, so there was no one home on the blind side. You could see Johnson come in, crash tackle there, and Carr quickly into the dummy half. Neat little kick down the side. Now they want to apply the pressure, try to force Wigan into an error.
By the way, you don't have to set your alarm clocks quite so early next Sunday to be inside Old Trafford for that divisional final. It kicks off at 12:30, not 11:30. My mistake, I apologise. But be there anyway. And you might see Jason Robinson there later on that day. But Sheffield have got a few words to say about it just yet. O'Connor to Paul. Now Smith. Smith taking them on up the middle on his own. Oh, that was a short, sharp left from Dale Lawton. Touch judge has seen it.
Stupidity. Well, he got away with it when he lashed out and made contact with Andrew Farrell about 10 minutes earlier. What on earth is going through that man's mind? Still in with a chance of winning this game, and crack. And I think that will just about finish it. And that says it all, doesn't it? Stupid reaction from Dale Lawton at a time that already committed the tackle. Tony Smith was going nowhere. That is just sheer stupidity.
Referee is calling Dale Lawton to him, who was a substitute here in the 1994 Premiership semi-final that Sheffield lost also.
Okay, about 15 minutes to go. Make sure you stand on the field. Yeah, well, everybody's fired up enough. I don't need all now. Okay, let's go.
Well, he's been ticked off. And that's all. And so Andrew Farrell says, well, let's just calm it down. Let's have another kick at goal. Kicked one from a similar range not long ago, just to ease the pressure.
And you can see a few of the Eagles players' heads just looking down now. They realised that was a stupid thing to do. They were on the roll with the Sheffield Eagles. Wigan were really under pressure. And now, as Eddie has just mentioned, Wigan have the opportunity to just calm it down. There'll be no rush from this big fella. He knows the importance of taking his time, and he also knows the importance of the 2 points on offer.
Well, prior to today, Andrew Farrell had kicked 24 goals in the last 3 visits to Central Park, the Sheffield Eagles. So they know all about the kicking ability of this man. He's missed that one, though.
Most important, though, it has gone dead in goal, so it'll be a dropout on the quarter from Sheffield. So Wigan will receive the football. It may not be pretty from here on in from Wigan. I think they'll be quite happy to just play out their full complement of 6, use the kick in game, but what a great kickoff. Beautiful dropout there.
Andy Johnson wasn't particularly interested, was he? But Wigan do get the head and feet at the scrum. Maybe that's why he decided to leave it alone and not risk an error.
Well,
that's one of the anomalies, isn't it, of the game, Steve-O? That a wonderful kick out like that, you find touch and you concede possession to the defending side.
Well, they're the rules, and you could see that the winger didn't want any of that, but I'm not so sure that his coach would have liked it. He could have taken that on the full and made it a vital 10-15 metres forward.
Darren Turner now getting involved with Gary Connolly.
Well, this is going to be a warm time for the players and the referee, Stuart Cummings.
Yes, 10 minutes to go.
You can see Cummings is getting very close to the play the ball area. He's forgoing the opportunity to bring Sheffield back the required 10 metres. He knows there's a lot going on in there.
Don't forget your man of the match vote, 0891 66 55 25. Lines open now. Holgate releases the ball, and the ball comes back, but it was a forward pass anyway. And Gail Talek was the man who hit the pass and thought he was on his way to the try line, the French international, but it was forward, the pass.
Good build-up. This is the end of it. It was Farrell again that went through a half tackle, and you could see sneak the ball away. Just a little bit forward anyway. Talek had not full control. Well, time is the biggest problem for the Sheffield Eagles.
What a game.
But another try, anything could happen. And that's why Wigan are tackling like terriers at the moment.
Stephen Holgate was the man putting in that tackle prior to this one, and what a change around for Holgate. This time last year he was heading into the first division with Workington, the club that he left to come here to Central Park. They were relegated this time last year. Now Holgate, number 17, there he is at the bottom of the screen. He is on his way to Old Trafford if the scoreline stays as it is. But Sheffield believe they have a little bit more to say about this, and Pinckney dabs the ball over the top. Smith gets to it.
Good play by the little halfback in the sweeping role. Tony Smith anticipated the kick. It's all about quick thinking. That could have been deemed a flop there by Darren Turner. Now composure is the key for Sheffield, not to give away a silly penalty. This is a little kick over by Pinckney, but you can see that Tony Smith equal to that task. There'll be solid tackling from the Eagles, but do not give away a silly penalty.
Cassidy, that's a great tackle on him by Taiwa. Henry Paul now, amazing. He staggered off this field, didn't he? And he's having a little look at Paul Carr after that swinging arm. Farrell just thumps the ball downfield. It stands up though, and here's Crowther to run it back for Sheffield. It's away from Henry Paul, but can't get away from the next man in, Gail Talek. Sovatabua to the halfway line.
Made some good incursions into the three-quarter line as a full-back. Sovatabua.
So is this fella, he's run strongly. Turner!
He's had a big game, hasn't he, the big second rower.
Now Aston. And Broadbent calls for it, and Broadbent's taking them on up the middle.
What a tremendous understrung.
It's a fabulous end for Sheffield, this, if end it's going to be to their season. And here's McAllister again, and McAllister is just held up by the defence of Farrell. So close, Sheffield. Doyle to Aston, and Aston grubbers it along the ground. And Ellison comes in and cleans up, but Pinckney drags him over the line. It's going to be a goal line dropout.
Been a big battle between the two wingers, Ellison and Pinckney. Pinckney drags Ellison over. It was a beautifully weighted kick from Mark Aston. The kicking game from both sides has been outstanding tonight. He won't rush.
No, he's in no hurry at all to take this. And the referee says, come on, get on with it. 6 minutes to go. Booming kick from Farrell, though, to the halfway line. Sovatabua. He then gives it to Lawton. Carr. Good ball from Carr to Taiwa, who came on for the injured Maiko, but he's not looked out of place, the New Zealand former test winger. Here's Senior. Ball drops.
Play on.
It's still in play on with Aston. He gives it then to Turner, and Turner's taking them on as he's done all night. Doyle withdraws, Vasilakopoulos comes on, fresh legs for the last 5 minutes. Broadbent, Aston. This is Paul Carr again. That's a great tackle on him by who else? Andy Farrell. Crowther wrestled to the floor by Connolly and by Henry Paul. Last one. There's Vasilakopoulos to Aston. Aston shaped a kick. Now he will. That will go into the in-goal area. If they catch it, it's diffused. It bounces back. The referee says play on. Was he offside there? Was the Wigan player who caught that ball offside? It must have hit a Sheffield arm, that's all.
It's a beautiful kick yet again from Aston. Fullback was under a lot of pressure. Did it come off? It came off Robinson's head.
This is Robinson now in attacking mode. He's turning Sovatabua inside out. Crowther comes back though to pull him down, and the referee's got Robinson for the knock-on. Tremendous effort from Matt Crowther.
Wonderful Robinson, who has played his heart out tonight. This is this incident as the kick. I'm sure it came. Yeah, I think it did come off Pinckney's face, chest perhaps. No, maybe the head. It was Senior that went up, sorry. And on that slow motion replay, I think you'll find that it did hit that man's head. Yep.
Stay.
And that could have been a penalty, and should have been a penalty. Well, what a tremendous effort by the Eagles.
Well, no matter what happens tonight, John Keir can go back to the Don Valley Stadium with his head held high, because it's been a super effort from the Eagles in this second half. And they're still not finished yet. Although if they look at the clock, they've got 3.5 minutes remaining, so probably time is going to ebb away from them. But they're finishing this match with their coach, John Keir.
He's done
feeling a very proud man.
He's done a tremendous job. I know a lot of people sort of turned up their noses when both Sheffield and, of course, Castleford brought off those two big shocks in the quarter-final. They said surely it would be an awful game at Old Trafford. Well, I tell you, it would have been a classic if both those two would have got there. Both Castleford and Sheffield have played some tremendous football.
Well, for Sheffield now, in about 2.5 minutes' time, the preparation will begin for Super League 3, which will kick off in the spring of '98. And Sheffield, on the evidence of their end to this current campaign, will be a much stronger force. And so will Castleford.
I must say that Wigan know they've been in a great match, and it really has had some tremendous skill in the first half that has enabled them to go back to Old Trafford, becoming like their home territory.
What a kick from Andy Farrell again.
He's played his part. A huge display tonight. And they know they've given this Sheffield side a lot of respect. As we keep mentioning, down at half-time, the Eagles 20 points to 0. They really looked dead and buried, but It's amazing, isn't it? We talk about the World Club Championship and how many of the English clubs who went down to Australia, they've come back, they've learnt so much, and one side you've seen tonight have certainly improved by their trip down under, and that is the Sheffield Eagles. Full credit to all the players and the club officials and of course their coach John Keir.
Well, Wigan now on the verge, and Sheffield have a penalty, but Wigan are on the verge of becoming the first ever club to get to Old Trafford for the 6th successive time, and to win it, they hope, in 7 days' time, 4 years in a row. As Steve-O said, that's becoming their own territory now, the Old Trafford ground of Manchester United. Remember, they went to the Challenge Cup final 8 consecutive years. They won 7 league titles in a row between 1990 and 1996 in the onset of Super League. And they have picked up where they've left off in those 2 competitions in this Premiership end-of-season playoff. And they love the trip just down the road to Old Trafford for the finale to the season. It's not a bad place to bring the curtain down on your domestic programme, is it? Here's Vasilakopoulos. Now Crowther, as we enter the last 30 seconds of this match. Sheffield, to their eternal credit, are continuing to throw the ball around and probe this Wigan defence. Pinkney it is now, and Pinkney is hauled down by Radlinski's despairing dive. Last tackle. Here's Aston again. Aston with a crossfield kick. The ball is still alive. Now it isn't. And that's Wigan in the Old Trafford Premiership final in 7 seconds' time.
Robinson will just die with his football. Another run. No passing needed now. Cassidy will surely bring the clock to its end.
There's the final siren, and Wigan are through to Old Trafford yet again. Jason Robinson, brilliant in attack, magnificent in defence. And so this team from Wigan, who over 13 years have always won silverware somewhere down the track, have now got another chance to pick up the trophy at Old Trafford. Andy Farrell lifted the Premiership trophy 12 months ago. He's going back there to Manchester again with the opportunity to do same again against St Helens. It's a repeat of the 1996 Premiership final, and Wigan will play the Saints at Old Trafford in a week's time. John Keir will go home with his head held high. An excellent, excellent effort from his men. And he's asking his players to go and say thank you to the band of Sheffield supporters who have travelled over here to be with them tonight in this semi-final. Eric Hughes, though, is on his way to the home of Manchester United for the end-of-season Premiership. The Premiership final against the Saints. They are proud, though, the Sheffield Eagles supporters, and so they should be, because John Keir has given them a team on the evidence of the latter stages of the season anyway, of which they can be highly proud. Mark Aston, such a change from last week when he and Paul Broadbent celebrated a victory at the Stoop. Now they know it's the end of their season, but Andy Farrell and Mick Cassidy have got at least another 7 days to go, and then the World Club Championship, and then I think certainly for Farrell and probably for Cassidy as well, a test series against the Australians beginning at Wembley on November the 1st. Lots to go then in Super League 1997. But still to come tonight, here at 9 o'clock, live NFL action as the Buffalo Bills take on the Indianapolis Colts. Over on Sky Sports 2, there's live US PGA Golf, day 4 of the Texas Open. And over on Sky Sports 3, highlights of today's races from the World Superbikes Championship in Spain. Right here after the break, we review this 22-10 victory for Wigan. Sealed really by Andy Farrell's goal in the 62nd minute after a great fight back by the Eagles. But it's Wigan who are back at Old Trafford, and in a week's time they face the old enemy, the Saints.
new 17-year-old, Michael Owen, surrounded by a team of stars, shines brightly for Liverpool. Collymore turned his back on Anfield, but he wants to be the main man there, this time for Villa. Fort Monday Night Football, tomorrow at 7 on Sky Sports 1.
You okay?
I'm fine, let's go.
Hold on, where are you?
I'm in New York.
Who am I?
Hey, Coach.
And who are you?
I'm Batman.
Sit down.
You don't understand, I'm Batman.
I do.
Not going anywhere for a while? Grab a Snickers.
Hello, good citizen. My name is Batman. You could be my assistant. Would you like that? Would you like to ride with Batman?
Scottish Widows was first set up in 1815 to look after the widows and orphans of the Napoleonic War. Coming through wars, recessions and stock market crashes, today they invest over £23 billion worldwide for the futures of millions of people. By looking after amounts large and small, Scottish Widows is looking good for your money.
You are unique. Even though you may be an identical twin, there is no one quite like you. Not even your identical twin. You may live in the same house as your neighbor, but you do not live in your neighbor's house. Always be yourself in your own home. If something pleases you, then it is right. Though you do not live in a tent, your home is your canvas. Express yourself freely upon it. Do not emulate the style and taste of others, for that is the road to self-delusion. Be true to yourself, and your shelves will be true to you, particularly if you use a spirit level.
Whatever you want to do to your home, Homebase can help you do it. There's no place like Homebase.
You can save yourself £1 when you get any of your colour print films, including advanced photo system, developed at Boots.
In tomorrow's 10p Times, there's a free Times Sports supplement, plus a 16-page guide to the Ryder Cup.
This weekend, BT is again doing something very special. Phone anywhere in the UK for a penny a minute. That's a saving of 69% on national calls. Get those wires humming with BT's 1p Weekend Saver.
Victory then for Wigan, and the Warriors are on their way to their 6th successive Premiership final. 22 points to 10, they have beaten Sheffield Eagles. It was a brave fight though from the Eagles, notably in the second half when they ran those 2 tries in and Mark Aston kicked his goal. 22 points to 10 though, Wigan are through to the final. Now then, man of the match. And it's your view, remember, Andy Farrell, Jason Robinson. Gary Connolly has won it with 28% of the vote, although it was a split vote, wasn't it? 30% of your votes went to other players, but Connolly, the outstanding player, according to our viewers, and here he is now talking to Alistair.
Gary Connolly, congratulations on the win, and also congratulations, you've been voted man of the match by our viewers. games console for you. I suppose in many ways this was a determined performance, if nothing else, tonight, especially in that second half.
Yeah, Sheffield come out all guns firing in the second half. We knew it was going to be hard. We got off to a great start in the first half, and we just tried to keep things going in the second half. But Sheffield come out and they played really well, and we was lucky to come away with the win at the end. With such a good record of trophies year in, year out, it's a record you want to maintain year in, year out, isn't it? Yeah, it's always nice to win trophies, and playing at Old Trafford, it's a great stadium, a great occasion, and it's great to be part of it. Obviously, with it being Saints, is there always an extra buzz for yourself? Well, if I said no, I'd be lying. It's my hometown team. I've got great respect for the Saints players and the Saints club. They're a great side, and it should be a cracking final. Amongst everything else that you did tonight, I'm sure you've been voted man of the match because of your ability to steal the ball in a tackle. Is that something that's now your trademark, do you think? I've played rugby union for a couple of months. You learn a few tricks down in there, so I picked up a few things and brought it back to league. And what about next week? How are you viewing that one? It's been a good hard game. I think it's 1-1 in the. We played each other twice, and it's we won one each, and so it should be down to a final. Whoever wins this will be the best team between us and Saints for this year. Last year, of course, it was to stop Super League champions winning even more silverware. This year, it's to stop them getting second cups. There's always extra motivation, isn't there? You don't need motivation when you're playing against St Helens. They're a great side, like I've said before, and it was just a great occasion, and hopefully we can come away with the win. All the best. Thank you. And the Viewers' Man of the Match competition winner, Olivia Power from London, who also wins the video games console as well. Well done, Olivia. That will be on its way to you shortly. So we have the ultimate Super League derby at Old Trafford next week. Played at the Theatre of Dreams, of course, the home of Manchester United. It's the Saints against Wigan. And it is the fourth time in 6 years in the Premiership final that Wigan have met the Saints. And there it is, confirmation now that that is the Premiership final lineup. And you'll be able to see the whole day on Sunday at 6:30, when we will also show you the divisional Premiership final as well. The Hull Sharks against the Huddersfield Giants. Join us Sunday 6:30 over on Sky Sports 3 for that. But, well, Gary Connolly was talking there about the recent history between Wigan and Saints. 1-1 in Super League it is, but remember, the season kicked off with that cup tie in the Challenge Cup at Knowsley Road that St Helens, who were down to 12 men, won against Wigan. So it's 2-1 to Saints, Steve-O, and it's all to play for at Old Trafford.
Well, I mean, we don't have to have the build-up for this, do we? I mean, the Wigan Saints, probably one of the biggest derby games you'll ever find in any sport, and I think that both sides will be up for it, but I think that both coaches will be quite pleased at the fact that they did scrape through, and I use the word scrape because St Helens had a very, very bad scare, and they came back in the second half, and full credit to Sheffield. And they really did play well. I mean, any side that can keep Wigan trialless in 40 minutes of football deserve a lot of credit, and full credit to John Keir and the players. They did not throw the towel in. It wasn't a matter of just turning up and saying, we'll make up the numbers. They played some outstanding football.
Well, on that note, I think it's about time we heard from the Sheffield Eagles coach, John Keir, but first of all to one of his outstanding players on the night, Mark Aston. He's now with Alistair.
Mark Aston, commiserations, but once again you proved that you are an improving side almost week by week at the back end of this season, weren't you?
Yeah, we're getting better. We're playing with a lot of confidence, you know, and I think if we'd have played with his heads in the first half and played to the pattern like John said at half-time, then I think it'd have been even closer. But you've got to credit Wigan. They're a great team, and you know, our lads have just worked, as you say, for the last third of the season. We've worked hard under John, and it's starting to pay off for us.
If is a big word, but you were, what, 3 or 4 minutes gone and you were just on the inside there looking for that final pass. If it had gone to you, who knows what might have happened tonight.
It's always if, isn't it? But, you know, as I say, John's just given us a pat on the back. The second half, the boys showed the character, and it's something to build on for next season.
Was it a case of wanting to prove how good you are and how far you've come tonight?
Yeah, I think we can compete with them, there's no doubt about it. Our aim for next year is going to be a top 4 place, and we've got to beat teams like Wigan. We've beaten once this season, and we'll be looking at doing the double next season.
Thanks, Mark. Let's move on to the coach, John. John Keir, you said at half-time that you were probably a little bit better than the scoreline was suggesting, and you said you could give a good 40 minutes. I guess you must be pleased with what happened.
Yes, I'm delighted. We've shown great improvement in these last 7, 8 games. We really have turned the football on, and we wanted to finish this last 40 minutes as we'd played the last sort of 8 games, and I'm sure that everybody will agree, all the viewers will agree, that we certainly have done that.
There's been plenty of highlights this season, but I think one thing that we've noticed is that you're able to dig in deep. You did it again tonight.
Yes, the players I've got, they're a credit to themselves, they're a credit to the club. I mean, they're not only good rugby league players, they're good people as well. And they work very, very hard, they dig deep, they've got great guts, great strength, great character, great determination. They're a good bunch of lads, and we'll get better next year, I'll tell you. You guys better watch out, watch for the Eagles.
If you measure it against just the game that you played here at Central Park a few months earlier, you can see the improvement already, can't you?
Yes, there's been a vast improvement, and in all honesty, we just played, we're a little too excited, I think, the first half, because it was a major semi-final, but these boys will get used to playing in games like that, because we're going to be challenging for honours.
Clearly, you've got a few months to prepare and make yourselves better for next season. What have you learnt from this season to work upon?
Well, I've learned that I've got some good football players, I've learned that I've got some smart players, and we've also sort of mastered the pattern that we want to play, and we can make little tactical adjustment for each team. But I think big raps as well for Eric Hughes, because we bombed the wingers at Don Valley, and he actually changed Radlinski and Connolly. They were interchanging with the wings so that they could feel the bombs, but we still put them under plenty of pressure, and I think everybody will realise that Sheffield Eagles are going places. But congratulations, Wigan, it was a great victory tonight.
And just one final thing, yourself now firmly entrenched as the coach, how would you assess your first few months in charge?
Well, I'm quite pleased. I think I did okay last year with Paris, and but I think the Eagles, I think we've soared slightly this past 8 matches, and we're going to work even harder, because that's what's achieved it. The harder you work, the luckier you get, and that's what we're going to do.
Thanks very much.
It's a pleasure.
He's one of the nicest guys in the business, John Keir, and his preparation now for Super League 3 will begin, I'll tell you, first thing in the morning when he reviews the video of this match, makes his notes, and then he will come back next year. And as he said, we all ought to watch out for the Eagles in 1998. We shall see. But I think Steve-O, teacher's report on John Keir, the start has been magnificent for him, and he can only go on from strength to strength from here.
Tremendous effort from all concerned at Sheffield. A lot of people thought that when Gary Hetherington left them, that perhaps they would be a bit of a downer. And of course, halfway through the season, they lost Larder. John stepped into big boots and has done a fine job. And he obviously said the right thing at half-time, because their first try from McAllister came from the real skills of Mark Aston. And this was superb, the way that Mark Aston uses Senior as a foil. And you'll see Senior throws his arms up and said, I should have got that. And that's the ploy to it, isn't it? Aston, such an experienced man, used McAllister and then out wide. Pretty good strength. And this is where they caught Wigan napping in the second half. It was poor first and second defence by Wigan, but let's not take anything away from Lawless. He had a fine game. But this was probably the turning point. Why on earth Lawton wanted to do this is anybody's guess. He'd already done the tackle. There was no way that Smith was going anywhere. This is an incident that came off Robinson's head, therefore it should have been a penalty to the Sheffield Eagles, but it's pretty hard to see that at normal speed, though you can see there that Stuart Cummings in a very good position, and when the Wigan player did finally get through it. But this perhaps was something that the Sheffield Eagles will talk about for many a day. From the first half, 4 minutes into the game, Maiko, wonderful skills. Why on earth did he throw the dummy? Mark Aston on the inside, and I think that they will rue the fact that they did not take the opportunity. And that, Eddie, is why Wigan are such a good side. They only had 5 clean breaks in that first half. They posted 4 tries. You've got to have the killer punch, you've got to have the killer attitude, and that's why Wigan have been so strong for so many years. But on the display from Sheffield, if they continue improving as they have done over the past 2 months, then yes, they really will flurry the feathers next year.
Well, we hope so. We hope so for John Keir's point of view, and we hope so obviously from Super League's point of view as well. But the final now, and it's St Helens, and there's one man who will need no motivation for this, and that's Eric Hughes.
Yes, I think that it'll be quite interesting to see, read the papers and see what comes out in the media. I think there'll be quite a little bit of fire off the paddock. They don't need motivation, we know that, and of course Wigan once again going for their only trophy that's left for them, without, of course, the World Club Challenge, which I think they'll do exceptionally well. But